Hey everyone, welcome back to our podcast, Kanuck and a Kiwi podcast. This is episode
Yay!
2. We sound much better.
Yes.
That's all I can say. This is my film, the film I chose. It's called No Man's Land. It came out in 2020, and it was directed by Cole I can't say her last name. Cole Azoyo. I can't say her last name. I'm so sorry. And it's based
okay.
off. It's based off a nonfiction book, No Man's Land: Surviving America in the 21st Century, by Jessica Briffer. Oh, I don't know. As a widow who leaves to travel around the United States in her van as a nomad. Yeah. What's your first thoughts on it? What do you think of it? Was it good?
Well,
Good things first.
it was good overall. My overall impression was definitely that, it was a good movie. It was a little slow for me, but, there was a lot of good quotes that I found throughout, and a lot of just kind of commentaries on life.
Yeah.
It was quite a deep movie,
Yeah.
and it had a lot of good themes, a lot of good, deeper meanings to it. Yeah.
You hear a
I
dog. I'm
wrote
sorry.
in my.
Oh
yeah, the dog. Honestly, my favorite part was the dog pat.
Oh my goodness.
That's got to be like 10 out of 10 favorite part for sure. It was just
the dog
hilarious.
pat. No, she left. Okay, we'll start. So
Well,
it kind of starts with her.
Sad.
It starts with her packing up, putting everything into like a rent a garage, because she lives in her van. And people are, and she just shakes the guy's hand, saying thank you, and they hug, and then you see her go work for Amazon. How do you feel about that?
Yeah, and
Working for Amazon, right? She does that for a bit, and she just talks to people, which I like.
I like how she's kind of isolated from the outside world, and you can see that like kind of straight away. With her interaction with, I think, another mum or like some family friends. There was like a family that comes. She's in a store.
She was a teacher,
and
she was like a teacher or something,
a teacher,
right?
I think.
Or like a tutor. But yeah, you see her like very
and she
isolated.
tutored
Like, oh yeah,
daughter, but yeah. And the
Yeah.
daughter just like has a conversation about her like being homeless, and she says she's not homeless because she's in a van, and
Yeah.
it's like bound. Yeah, she might not have a home, but she has other things.
Yeah. Yeah, and she had a chat. This is before the dog, but she had a chat with a woman, right? And how she said she wanted to just leave everything behind, but she couldn't do it, right? She looked at her 2 dogs, and then you kind of realize like this is a very not sad movie. Remember how she was in a van having conversation with
It's kind of dark, yeah.
No, it's very dark. But she didn't go through with it because she didn't want to do that to her dogs. And I was like, oh, and then basically the next scene, the main character, the main person we follow, her name's Fern. She leaves a dog basically out in the cold. Because
she just can't take it.
No, exactly. Like she has a small, like it's a pretty big van, but the dog is too big.
And a lot of the places that she is in it's cold, and there's just she can't really care for the dog in the same way that will benefit him. And a dog's hard work. It's a lot of responsibility. And it's sad. It's sad.
No, I mean, if I was traveling, I couldn't leave the dog. I would think about it for a long period of time if I did leave it, and be like, I should have took him. I
just think the way that she pets them is so fun. I don't know. It was just funny to me, like that little. It was like so sad, but it was such a just memorable moment for me. It was just
memorable. It was like
in
no.
the dog. I don't know. It's sad.
Mm-hmm.
It really is sad though. It's like comedic but sad, tragic. It's a tragic comedy. Yeah. Yeah. So anyway, there's the next part. Also just a lot of isolation in there was that Christmas music in the thing, and she's just kind of shopping by herself. But even a lot of the movie is actually her in isolation because she has no kids and her husband died.
Yeah.
So that in itself is very, very sad. And
also, this took place around great. Yeah.
She finds this this Dave guy. Well, yeah, she's introduced Linda May to the group and all this stuff, but then she kind of loses her job at Amazon, right? She doesn't. I don't quite understand what. Yeah, go ahead.
I likes how But speaking of isolation, I've told, I don't know if I told you this, but I said the way to describe this film is that you're basically you're going on a trip with her. It's like a documentary, but not quite. I like the shot. There's so many shots like it. She's far out. She's by a van, or she's by buildings, and you see her walking. It's just a walking shot, right? You know what I'm talking about, or
yeah,
it's
totally.
landscape her. You know?
Yeah.
And
no, that's one thing that I really liked about the movie. Yeah.
Yeah. And I don't know where she was at the start of the film, but she goes to Arizona, and it's just driving there, right? And the music.
Yeah.
Yeah, beautiful. I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're in the desert, right? Are we talking about that, or they talk? So the guy they called Santa.
Yeah.
Do you remember that? He's a real person. Yeah. He's actually there's videos on YouTube about him that you can just watch, and it's not done with the movie. He lives in his van. Yeah.
And he started this kind of movement.
Well,
is that right?
He didn't start the movement, but he definitely promoted it. I feel like.
Okay.
And it's something you can only do in the States, right? You can only For me, I can't. The furthest south, I can't go meager as south as I can in Canada. I will still have to deal with a winter. But you live in the States, you could go to Arizona or Florida, and you'd be kind of okay. I would recommend going to Arizona because hurricanes in Florida, and I don't like that.
It was interesting as well, the way that the movie portrayed living in a van. They made it very harsh, not having a proper toilet. A toilet is very easy to have in a van. It's actually not very hard to get. So I thought that was a bit of a grim kind of depiction of van life. Because I'm actually a lot of people. One of my friends has a van that's you can be independent in it. It's got proper facilities. It's got water and a toilet and whatnot. So I kind of know a little bit about that.
Like an RV or
an RV? Yeah, a Ford. It's a Ford Transit.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Do we want to talk?
But living in a van, I must say, it definitely is hard. It's something we went for a little overnight trip recently, and it really is not a pleasant way to live. That's for sure. I can definitely say that, but it's not as hard as pooing in a bucket. It's not. You don't have to do that.
Talk about that.
It's cold. It's not as nice as living at home. You're never gonna get the same kind of. Nothing's better than home, really. But yeah.
So yesterday I was talking to you. I was like, "Do you make it to the bucket part yet?" And you said, "What bucket part?"
Now I understand.
He wants a completely different movie.
Yeah,
I'm
that was
sorry.
kind of my bad. I got a little bit confused on instead of
No Man's
Nomadland, it was No Man's Land, and so I watched a little bit of this. Like, it was weird. It was like a Spanish kind of like versus the like British kind of or like American cowboy kind of guys, and it was like this fight over like land. It was all weird. I don't know, and I was just like, what the heck? This is totally
Would you
different.
recommend?
I mean, it was actually not that bad. Like, I was kind of getting into it, to be honest. 20 minutes in. Like, I might finish it off, honestly, but yeah.
Get the bucket. My first time watching it, because they kind of like pointed to something happening. Like, they're talking about, going to the washer. It's like, I don't want to see that. And they showed it, like, oh. And then
It's kind of funny because they were joking about it. Like, there was, like, the hard things and, like, yeah, I don't know.
No.
You need...
And
maybe you do have to poo in a bucket. Like, maybe they just don't have, like, the ability to have toilets and vans and stuff. Like, maybe it is true. Like, I don't know what... Yeah.
Yeah. No, I couldn't.
But yeah,
someone knocks on the door, you're like, oh no, that's my nightmare.
Yeah.
I couldn't.
But it definitely portrayed. The good thing about that is, if you look on the bright side, it did like show the harsh reality of like the living conditions of like living in a band. So I guess that's kind of good. But yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Ralph, you want to talk about Ralph a bit?
Yeah. Well, also like there was another scene where she's just kind of like. There was some great shots, like very, very aesthetically pleasing. Let's just say. However, the one of her being naked, like in the water, that was just like an unneeded. I felt that it was just unnecessary. They could have like. There's no need to make a movie for just one scene that is just shows a little bit of
It was very
unexpected. Yeah.
It was no. I remember watching it for the first time, and you see her van. Like the shots before are beautiful. Her van perfectly fits in this cave. You're like, oh, and then like a few shots later, like, oh. I mean, I don't know. It's just there. Is it needed?
Yeah.
Not really, but
probably
it's
not.
there.
It's there.
If you're watching with your parents, skip.
Just
let them know. Just let them know.
Be aware.
Yeah. I should have told you. I forgot to. I told you with the bucket, though.
It's fine. It was just a second. Like, it wasn't... Yeah.
Yeah. No, but, like, it's so beautifully shot. And, like, the music reminds me... The music reminds me of Breath of the Wild. I don't know if you got that vibe. Like, because Breath of the Wild is very much piano. And this movie is piano, right? Yeah, like... It's so like I want to go to that area of the States. Just like that, it really showed it off well.
Yeah, it is a beautiful
like
place.
Arizona, Nevada. I don't know. They went to Nevada. I can't think of New Mexico. I think they were probably around like New Mexico and stuff. Like beautiful.
Yeah. Yeah.
Another area that made me kind of cringe is when she was cleaning out her car and her plates that her dad gave her for high school graduation. What's his name? Frank? He took the plates out and it just broke.
Oh, Dave.
No, Dave. Oh my goodness. I was like, oh, no.
It's just kind of, Dave ruined the relationship right now.
Yeah, no, I don't know how you're going to recover from that. Like, goodness.
Dang, like, his intentions were good, but, yeah. It was just unfortunate and awkward, and, and the fact that she had to, like, glue them back together, like, she's actually gonna keep the plates. Like, I was thinking like surely she's just gonna like chuck them out because like they're wrecked, but no, she decides to glue them like back together and like still use them. I was just like, oh my god.
I might glue together the little candle tray that you got for me.
Oh yeah.
Me and my sister. Nice. Yeah, we're still like we'll see, but like you really like you felt like when those hit the ground, you're like, oh goodness.
And no, just for the amount of work that she needs to do to like recover those like her plates are like favorite treasures. It's just like, oh,
like they're like everything in that, like those plates are probably not like they're important to her because she's traveling with them, right? Like that, like she has a lot of value to those plates.
Yeah, that was also another thing. Like when they try to, she later on in the movie, there's kind of her van is getting older and older, and she's like lived in it, and she gets a quote from the mechanics.
Yeah,
that it's going to cost like $5,000 to fix.
Right.
And she just like it was interesting to me like how she's just saying like she put so much love into the van and she just can't like sell it and it's totally worth it to her. Yeah, which is kind of sad. Like her dreams are kind of like crushed, like a lot of the time.
So my grandpa, he owns a wrecking yard, right? And
yeah,
there's cars everywhere. And when I was younger, like I used to walk around, and it's like there'd be like little kind of like things in the car, or like little not pictures, but like little kind of toys or something, like just things that add character to the car. And it's just out in the wrecking yard, like it's just out to sit, right? It's kind of it's a sad kind of beauty to it, if you know what I mean, like not being neat anymore, not being used anymore. Does that make sense? Yeah. Okay. Good.
No, like I don't know, and that's like old things always have like value, like they're not valuable in themselves, and there's a lot in them. Like for
it,
what could I think of an example? I don't know, like maybe an old camera or something that you have, like an old video camera that's still like is not HD, like it's got the most horrible settings ever. Like I have a really old video camera, but I just like the kind of old nostalgic feel to it.
The look of it, like, right? Yeah.
The look of it, yeah. So that's why like you keep old things, is because it's like nostalgic and it has value to like. There's always better stuff to buy, but you just like it because it has value to you personally. And so that was nice.
I liked how they showed her like Fern working jobs.
Yeah, she really was quite like she really is a good person, and her whole life is dedicated towards helping and serving people. Yeah. And she had some really good values, so she definitely is like kind of a Christian-ish character, if you could call it that. Like it's not really like movie. I
mean, I see it. Like I was meaning, sorry. I would say, like, you know how, like, I don't know if you get at, like, I've watched videos of people living in cars, and they show, like, this movie really shows, like, yeah, people do that, but you're most likely, like, there's one side to it that are a very small amount of people who make money, and they have enough money to live in a car, but there are lots of other people who have to work. That they have to work, they can't even afford a house, they have nothing to fall back on, you know? So
and especially in this time, in the Great Depression, like
depression,
not Great Depression.
Great Recession? What's it called? One minute.
The 2008 recession.
Yeah, like it's around that time, I think, but like it's still like a big deal. Like
it was also interesting, like later on when there's quite a contrast between her and her family. When towards the end of the movie, she's kind of offered a place to live back in a house, and she refuses. She just can't do it because a lot of their people, they're like ripping off normal everyday people with the real estate, and
it's
that was a
also
big
funny. It's funny because like real estate, and there she is living in a car. Well, not she doesn't have a car at the moment, but like she's living in a car, right? So I thought that was a little funny. What else?
I mean, she really did like take a life of kind of poverty almost in a way. Like thinking about it now, I realize like maybe she does have a lot of like Christian qualities that like she's definitely like a moral character. She's good. She's
I
she's a good
do you remember the conversation that she had with the lady with the broken arm? I can't think of her name, but they were talking about her husband, right? And Fern said how she should have just gripped the what's it called? The tube giving her life. And then the lady replied with, "No. He wanted to stay with you as long as he could." I really liked that part. Like I really liked that scene. It was really good. And how she talked about like
also
throw a rock in for me when you see me if you don't see me again. Dude,
that was Linda May, wasn't it?
I believe so.
No, not Linda. It was the other. I forget her name. Anya
I can't think of it either. But she has a broken arm and stuff.
That was quite beautiful. Yeah.
Yeah, no, it was wonderful.
She eventually basically maybe I shouldn't spoil it. I don't know how much spoilers we wanted.
I mean I kind of already spoiled it a minute ago, so you can go like they talk like you see her. She talked about how she wanted to show like see what was it, sparrows fly over her head.
She only has She only has 7 months to live.
It's like beautiful. You know, like she's going to go to the place and do it. And then you run throw rocks in for her. And you're like, it's
there was definitely.
Oh no. You cut out? I didn't hear you.
I'm cutting out a little bit, but that's
okay. Okay. Have you ever heard the term snowbirds? Do you know what a snowbird is?
No.
So a snowbird, for say you lived up in Canada, you as an older person, you can hop into your van and you drive down to Florida or Arizona or somewhere warm. And that's a snowbird. And then when it's nice and sunny again, like right now in Canada, you go back up. So you go down for the winter and you come up for the spring. And they call them snowbirds.
Okay. That makes sense.
The first kind of people were people in like, I think like people who used to go fishing from England. I might be getting this totally wrong, but I remember hearing this somewhere. People go fishing in England. They go down to Newfoundland, fish there for the warm months, and then go back up for the cold month. Like go back up to England when it gets cold in Newfoundland.
Okay.
And those are like the first snowbirds.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah.
The ending is it's good. She kind of just drives off. She talks about her house, and then you see her walk through her house basically empty, and then she drives away. And the music is just getting louder.
Yeah.
So the first time I watched this, I cried at the ending. I don't know why. I just did. I don't know. Did you cry?
I did not. I did not cry.
That was the last. So I watched this movie years ago, and that was like the last time I cried when watching a movie. So
Okay.
It doesn't happen often. This is really
Yeah.
uh
Yeah, crying for me is weird. Like, I can't really. It's got to be something like quite sad to make me cry. Although, in saying that, I actually admittedly do cry quite a bit in a lot of movies. But yeah,
I don't. Unless there's a dog dying or like a baby dying. Oh, that destroys me. People I don't really care about, but animals or babies, I can't. Um, what are your like aside from the one scene in the film? What are some flaws of the movie?
flaws.
Yeah.
Yeah, I felt I was a little bit disappointed with the ending. I thought there could have been kind of more to it. It left me kind of wanting a little more the first time. Maybe that would be different if I watched it again, but I just felt like the ending didn't really do, like, it would left me wanting kind of more of like a change, more of like a difference. Like, it's nice to have like some character like kind of walk off into the sunset and yeah, sometimes.
I definitely agree with that. That's like the only flaw I can kind of find with it. There's like rewatching it, it's something really good because you kind of get the idea, like the main point of the film is like the friends that you make along the way. Like that's really what it's about. Like there's like, you remember like the jazz scene with that one guy with the mustache?
Yeah.
He says it at the start. Good. He says this at the start, and then later you hear it again. And it took me like another rewatch. I can't think of it. I don't think I wrote it down.
Shoot.
What? No.
He is a cool guy. He definitely lived music and just yeah.
Yeah.
He's just a cool guy.
I don't know how we've been talking for a bit. Okay. What's your idea for your film next film? What are you gonna rate this?
I would give it a solid like 4 out of 5.
4 out of 5. Okay. I'm giving it like a nice.
Give 4 out of 5. It was just it was like just a little slow for me. I don't know. At parts there was just a few things that like maybe could have been cut down, but then also you could say, oh well, it brings out the main story, and I don't know. It's just
I'm gonna give it a nice long car ride. Listening, like the windows are open, you're by yourself, you're just kind of like it's a little bit of a sunset. And you're like, nice. That's my rating. Okay, what's your?
It really makes you think about life though. That's for me, and just like life, death, loneliness, marriage, jobs, and retiring.
Yeah.
Well, just like not marriage, but just like. Maybe after marriage, more like when you're more like when your husband dies or something. Like I found it really beautiful. One part that really like hit me as well is there's a scene where she like some ladies are trying to like I think buy her wedding ring.
No, they're talking about like
she can't like she was saying like she can't part with it even though like it's obviously that it's like it's valuable because rings are worth like $5,000 or a wedding ring, like it's worth a lot of money, and it's something, but it's something sentimental that you just can't part with. And she was saying, "Oh yeah, I couldn't probably bring myself to part with it even if I tried. Like it's just the fact that she was married to him and she's probably never going to get married again." I just found that quite interesting.
Yeah, like there's so many parts.
There was a lot of good quotes. Like there was like seeing like there was this guy. I forget where this was, but like helping and they were talking about like helping and serving people gives like people a reason to live, and like the old guy with the beard, Santa, he was also saying about like life. How could his son died when he was like young, and he was saying like how can I be living when someone I love is dying, kind of thing, which was also like super deep. And there was also like I've just spent my time too much of my life on remembering like memories and whatnot, and I was just like, wow. And then there was also like some quotes like, "There's no final goodbye. We will see you down the road, seeing the loved one, seeing the ones you love again." Like all those kind of like, just like seeing people again. All those quotes were just like, yeah, dang.
Like they talked about how like a wedding ring is a circle and it's forever. That was like, oh, that really hit me. Like it's something that I never thought about.
Yeah. Well, I just think it's beautiful to like not. Yeah, I don't know. It was just it was nice.
After she directed this movie, she directed a Marvel film, which I got really excited to watch, and I didn't finish it. we might watch it later. Who knows? Ooh.
Ooh, yeah, I need to think about the next movies, but yeah.
No, so we don't have an idea.
It was a good day. There was a lot to talk about. So there was a lot of themes and stuff. And yeah, it was good. I liked it.
Okay.
Especially like talking with you, Connor. It really like brought out. It made me like contemplate the movie a little more. Like I was a bit more cynical at the start. Like when I watched it afterwards, I was just like, "Dang, that was like a bit boring." But yeah, talking with you actually brought out like a lot of like interesting stuff. So I'd probably like rewatch it again.
Yeah, I recommend it to people. I do tell them about like the one scene because it just kind of comes out of nowhere. Like it's like it happens. I just want to let you know. But like aside from that, it's beautiful. The music is amazing. If you were to describe to someone, I would just say like you're basically a passion. You're in the back seat of her car, just traveling with her. You know, for the good and the bad. And there's a lot of bad and a little bit of good that makes it worth it. Honestly. Alright. With that, I think we'll be good. I will see you hopefully in 2 weeks. I'll let you know. It was fun though. We're getting into the groove.
Thanks,
we're getting into the groove of talking, which is amazing. Hopefully everything works.
That went well.
Alright. Bye.
Bye, Connor. That was fun. Thanks. Bye.